Welcome to the Astrology Chronicles, Celestial Wisdom for the Soul. Hi, I'm Patty Campson, intuitive astrologer and crystal connoisseur, also a certified energetic healer and founder of Crystal Energy Arrangements.
And I'm Tamari Ater, the astrofashionista, certified astrologer, Reiki energy healer, and founder of Gift of the Nile Wellness.
The Astrology Chronicles podcast will be your go-to spot for diving deep into the world of astrology and discovering how it influences your day-to-day life with personal stories and real-life client examples.
Our goal? To shine a light and share some love with everyone who tunes in. Whether you're astrology curious or a seasoned star chart reader, there's something here for you. So grab your favorite cozy spot and let's explore the stars together. Thank you for joining another episode of the Astrology Chronicles. I am Tamari, the astrofashionista, here with my lovely co-host.
I'm Patty Campson, intuitive astrologer and crystal connoisseur. And it looks like today we're going to talk about one of my favorites, the moon. Oh my goodness.
I love the moon. It's so important in astrology. I always feel like it's like the most, I always tell people, especially for relationship astrology, like we prioritize Venus so much, but I'm like, the moon, get to know your moon. That is like core to you feeling like you're fulfilled in your life. So I love that we're talking about this today.
Yeah, I always tell my clients the moon, one of the most important things is about the moon is it allows you to know what you need to feel safe. So
Mm-hmm.
having that information on your partner, your children, your family, like what is a core issue of what they need to feel safe is like a power move. So for me, with that Libra, right, I have a Libra rising, yes, but a Libra moon, just, can we just all get along? Can we just
Yes.
be all okay and nice and everything look pretty? Harmony is so important to me. When there's conflict and stress, I am not a happy girl.
Yeah. Now that has to be hard to deal with too for, I think anyone that has like a strong Venus in their chart and where pleasure is like, what you're searching for, because there's so much disharmony in the world. How do you deal with like protecting that peace for yourself?
My daughter just asked me that question. She's like,
Oh.
um, she's in a space where there's a lot of flux and change and so much stuff. And she was saying, why can't people just be how I want them to be?
Wait, which
She goes,
star was this?
It's Callista. She's my Virgo Scorpio, more
Mhm.
Scorpio than anything.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like, you can't control people. But I think with all my Pisces, I'm an escape artist.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't feel I'm an escape artist in a negative or bad way because I never went to drugs or alcohol. I can say I've gone to food, and not even to relationships. I
Mhm.
really just create this own little private fantasy land, and I just allow it to breathe out. I really
Mhm.
don't. I think I do take it in, but I don't hold it and create anger or stress. I think it's just, I can't even put words to it. It's just who I am. And then people experience being in my presence. They're like, how do you stay so calm? And I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't know. It just is.
It
And
just
it always has been since I was a little girl.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, it's something you probably have always been doing or
And
learned
I
to do.
came out of chaos. I didn't come from a growing up from a space of just everything is so amazing. I mean, my mom has been married 5 times. My dad has been married 4 times. There was a lot of chaos and
Mm.
change and different people. And I just had to, like, okay, I don't know what's happening. Let me just manage my way through this. And I was the youngest.
Oh, wow. Yeah, being
And
your
I was
little.
the caretaker. No, I wasn't like people were, taking care of me.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense, though. It is like your protective, I don't want to call it a defense mechanism because I find that's like more negative, but it just you learned how to protect your peace. I feel like that's really important, not only for like Libra moon, I feel like Taurus moon that would be important for Pisces moon, anything where like harmony and your those are like empaths, people that want to help. Um, be Virgo moon, but Virgo has more of a practical outlook on like solving problems. But yeah, I think if your moon sign is in one of those signs, there might probably be a tendency to retreat and go in your bubble. Or if your moon's in the 12th house, or if your moon's in the 8th house, you need a
I
lot
had a
of.
perfect example. So just with my three kids have been an amazing laboratory for me in astrology because I actually get to see it in real time and experience it from an authentic place. Because when you have clients, they tell you what you want to hear or what they want you to know, and you don't see the whole three-dimensional experience. So having like being able to know my family, my parents, my siblings, I know all their information. So I get to see it from a whole different level. But recently, I won't go into all the details, but there was a huge happening with my kids and their dad. And it's a whole long story, but they all reacted exactly how their moon would experience it. And my three children have three different moon signs. So my son is Aquarius moon. And this was a very emotional thing. Of course, if it has to do with a parent, you're going to be invested. And so either you're going to protect or, you're going to have strong emotions. So my son is an Aquarius moon. And his response was matter of fact, I'm doing this, this, and this. There was no emotional attachment. It was just, this is what's happening. My youngest daughter, Callista, who has a Leo moon, was dramatic and emotional and expressive and wanted her siblings to give her feedback and want them to be emotional so she can get all up in the drama. And then
Mhm.
my oldest daughter, Abike, is a Scorpio moon, and she
Mhm.
was, I don't want to talk about it.
Retreat.
She
Mhm.
had to go within. Those are her private feelings. She has to process. It has to be something that she goes deep within alone to figure it out, and then she will come to the table. And then me
Mhm.
as a Libra moon, I was just like, okay, how can
Is
I
everybody okay?
let me make sure everybody is having what they need. Let me
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was such I got off the call and I was like, everybody came in from their moon energy.
Yeah, it's so key to know that. I completely relate. I feel like I definitely identify, like I love knowing that about people because it just gives me it helps me not take things personally too when people do react a certain way. Because I have an Aquarius moon too, and I think with Aquarius moon, like you said, we have the ability to step outside of the situation, even if it's tough, and that doesn't mean you don't have feelings, but it doesn't overtake you. And I think from the outside looking in, I think with relationships that can be a little problematic, especially if someone has a more moon where they need a little bit more nurturing because we're rational, like, well, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? Like, or bring in the facts, like you said,
Yeah.
your son did. So that makes a lot of sense. But knowing what that Scorpio energy is like, because I do have a lot of planets in Scorpio, I know that tendency with Scorpio energy is to hold it all in and not ask for help and be very private about it. So that makes total sense. And so, yeah, again, your moon sign, if you don't know it, please look it up. You usually don't need your birth time unless it's, at the degrees or at the end or the beginning. You can kind of see the moon stays in a sign for 2.5 days. So it's something you can look up even if you don't know your birth time typically. But read about that because a lot of people relate more to that sometimes than their sun sign, right? And it's something that you should share with your partner, absolutely, so they know how to love you because that's how you get nurtured.
Yes, that's how you get nurtured. That's how you deal with things emotionally. It's
Mhm.
what you need to feel safe. It's about women in your life. It's about your mother.
Mhm.
It's about memories and the past. It is so complex. And I know Eastern astrology, Vedic astrology, they are moon sign based. They want
Right,
to know your moon sign before your sun sign.
for sure.
But in Western astrology, it's the sun. So the moon is the fastest moving luminary in the zodiac. So it changes signs every 2 to 2.5 days. So that also gives you information to know, okay, sometimes you wake up and you're like, why am I in a funk?
Right.
Yesterday, I was so good. I was so happy. And now today it's a Scorpio moon and I just want to hide, or it's
Right.
a Gemini moon and I just need to go and be free and do what I want to do and talk to people and just gossip. It's one of the things that we can see in real time. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
that's why I'm feeling better today. Or that's one of the influences that is allowing me to feel lighter and or heavier and or more intense, depending on where the moon is for the day.
Yeah, and I find that kind of comforting because that's why, like, feelings are fleeting, right? And sometimes when you're in a funk, it feels like, oh, like I'm never going to get out. But we do know, obviously, there's the longer transits that affect us in our charts, where outer planets are there for a longer time, and maybe you do have to work through some things. But when it comes to like your feelings day to day and how upbeat you are, that could be moon influence. So just know that you're supposed to honor that for the day, or maybe the day and a half, and it'll change and it'll come back the next month. And when you get used to the cycles and the ebbs and flows, then you can start really working with the cycles of the universe then versus, fighting against them or feeling like something's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. It's just what it is, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
So I do love moon, following the moon, honoring the moon. I think another thing that people, besides the relationship aspect, knowing like your moon signs and if they're compatible, the moon is really influential, I think, also in your career choice. It doesn't seem like it always is, especially obviously if your moon is in the 10th house or it's somewhere more visible. But in general, I find when people are unfulfilled in their careers, there's something about the moon that is not clicking with the career choice that they've chosen, right? Because we can't turn off who we are even at work.
yeah.
So that's also important even for vocational work when you're looking at what is it I should be doing. I find it's a combination of kind of all three, your rising, your moon, your midheaven. You want to consider all of those things. That helped me definitely when I chose a career path and even with what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it's really amazing when you speak to clients and you point out something in their chart and they're like, "Oh no. Uh, I don't do that. I'm not like that." And it's like, "Okay, it may not be in this situation, but it's kind of something that you do have in your wheelhouse if you decide to open it up. If you
Mhm.
decide to take a look, take some action with it, just kind of see how it feels." Um like there's things that we just do naturally that we take for granted, and you don't really say, "Oh my gosh, this is part of who I am." You just take it for granted because it's what you know how to do,
Mhm.
and you don't think that it's something special, and it is. It's
Right.
just a matter of having a different, perspective and looking at it differently so you can value it, value
Mhm.
what's already there.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think, yeah, sometimes we have a hard time of seeing ourselves, right?
For sure.
Because not only what we're projecting out, is different than what we feel internally, but people are picking up on different things because it's reacting with their chart. So like I really see myself as a nurturer and a lover, and I think I am all those things, but there is a side of me that is cold as ice when like I can be that. And that's that Aquarius moon. And I know how to, and it's not even something intentionally, it's something that I learned to do because of my childhood experiences. Also, like I have my own protections, but I know that will not that does not go well with someone that's also has a moon where they need a little bit more nurturing and they need a little bit, you know, and then and I see it completely. I'm like, no, I've given everything I could give. And that's not what they're looking for from me, right? They're looking for that emotional, more
Yes.
water side of.
Yes.
So I think again, that's a self-awareness piece. That's
Huge,
right.
huge
Mhm.
self-awareness.
Yes, yes.
And you really don't understand it until maybe you get to your first Saturn return, that
Mhm.
self-awareness. All of a sudden it's like, oh, oh, oh,
Right.
I said
Like I've been doing this.
that. Yes, I did that and I meant it. But now I know what it really means to somebody else to do that.
Right.
Because then you may experience it being done to you and you're like, okay, I get it now.
Definitely.
And that's
Um,
what astrology is all about. It's about cycles and patterns and being able to look at those cycles and patterns and see where you fit in them and how you can use them for your highest good, for you to be the most successful in this version of your soul.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think even you know, the elements, maybe that's useful for people listening before we log off, like how fire moons and earth moons and air moons and water moons, fire moons, they're spicy, you know, emotionally when something happens, you're gonna see that reaction usually right up front. Like you said, Callista, you know, Leo moon, and that's already very big and loud, you know, it's like they can't hold back. So
And they
fire,
need to be validated and they need to be seen.
yes, definitely. So that's fire moon. What about earth moons?
The earth moons are very much, they need the basics. They need security, they need food, they need clothing, they need to make sure that everything is present, that is not abstract,
Mhm.
nothing that is too complicated. Just give me the simple things and I can be good.
So
And
true.
make sure that it makes sense because we
Mm,
don't like things that are all complicated. A
hmm.
B equals C, we're good.
Right. It's very true.
And
And yes, growing
the
up with
water.
Earth Moon brother.
Oh, yeah.
Sag sun, but Earth Moon, Taurus moon. Um, And then, yeah, we said water moons. So water moons are, I mean, those are the people that are the most affected by the cycles of the moon, and they feel everything. And they're empathic. They need a lot of time, you know, I think to themselves to process through things. They might cry, and you don't understand if you don't have a water moon or if you're not don't have a lot of water in your chart. They're
Yeah.
feeling, you know, and
Yeah.
then
And then the air moons, they are social. They need to interact with people, have experiences, learn, teach. As long as they have knowledge and information, that helps them to have a good mood. If
yeah,
they're in the dark, if there's not people involved, if there's not a social dynamic, even with Aquarius can be very a little, but they need their circle. They need their people. Like my son, I'm probably you as well, but my son, my not my my planet son, but my
sign. Yeah.
child son, he has his group and it is tight and he keeps it that way. And those are his posse. That's who he rolls with.
Yeah.
And it's very much needed for him. So the air signs definitely are the social energies of the moon sign.
Yeah. When they're going through things, they need to talk through it, you know. And like I'll talk to the person at the grocery store. Like it doesn't matter. It'll be I will lay it down. I'm a very private person, but if somebody asks me and I will have like the most intimate conversation with a stranger and then move on and never, and that's like a therapy for me. So that's definitely I don't know if that's relatable for you too, but
I know
um
it. We both have air moons. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, oh, let me just lay it out, and then I feel a little bit lighter, like I got something off my chest. And then I might feel more comfortable as an Aquarius moon. I actually do feel more comfortable doing that with people I don't know than
Mhm.
someone that like my best friend, because I don't like to burden people. So for me, it's easier to have those deep convos sometimes with strangers because I know I'll never see them again, or chances are I won't, like
Well, let
traveling.
me tell you about my gynecological visit.
I've had so many deep conversations on the airplane and rest, like traveling the best for me. I'm like, yes, I know I'm never going to see them again, or maybe,
I could let it all out to this
yeah.
person.
So it's funny. That's the air moon there. So hopefully you guys know your air moons. I mean, your not air moons, your moon sign. If you don't, look it up and get to know it ASAP. I think it'll explain a lot about your personality that you didn't know.
And if
And
you have a question, put it down in the comments if you want to share something about your air moon that or your moon sign that you find interesting that we didn't share. It could help. If it could help somebody, we would love to read it.
yes, please. We want to know all your charts, your big three, everything. So share. And we're so happy that you listened to this episode. And we will catch you on the next one.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.